Today we're going to talk about a topic that isn't talked about enough, or at least not frequently enough, in the English learning space, and probably one of the biggest reasons why so many struggling English students can't reach an advanced level of fluency. There are generally three things every struggling English student, professionals trying to learn to speak English fluently, does that cause them to repeat the same basic expressions in a conversation, repeat the exact same mistakes, and then get stuck keeping on looking for the next word in their conversations and not have the confidence to communicate. Even after years of studying grammar and vocabulary, the biggest mistake most of them make is that they only focus on studying the next grammar structure, advanced grammar, or memorizing vocabulary, idioms, phrasal verbs that then they end up not remembering in a conversation. When they feel like they're speaking with this basic vocabulary or grammar, the next thing they do is watch another series in English, video after video, maybe sign up for a video course as well where they can learn some more vocabulary, but still not see much result with the way they speak English. Or they might even sign up for a course or a class at a language academy or with a private teacher where they practice speaking, but after 3 to 6 months, they realize that they haven't really made much progress. The most likely reason this is happening is that you still don't feel like your English is good enough, and you might still be way too afraid of making mistakes, taking the risks you need to take and face and rise up to the challenges you need to face so you can break through what I call the English student's death cycle. And this creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension between where you think you are based on all the grammar and vocabulary you already understand and where you actually are, and your unrealistic expectations towards where you're supposed to be. The thing is, and this is especially important at the intermediate level, and I realized this, I learned this the hard way back in those days when I was preparing for my advanced exams and my life in London, was that when you keep having conversations using the same vocabulary and you keep making the same mistakes, not learning from the feedback you get on them, or talking about the same topics, you're not challenging yourself. Basically just practicing instead of what effective English communicators focus on, which is improvement every single time they try. And I talk about this in way more detail in another video, where I also dive deeper into the consequences of how this way of thinking will cost you years of not making progress. Like, look at some of the most successful people in the world: Kobe Bryant, Walt Disney, or J.K. Rowling. I mean, Kobe Bryant, one of the most successful, most admired basketball players the world has ever seen, has failed 14,481 shots, the most in NBA's history. Walt Disney was fired from the newspaper he was working at because apparently he lacked creativity and imagination. And J.K. Rowling was turned down by 12 publishers. These successful people, just like the people you see who speak English confidently and communicate effectively at an advanced level, didn't hold themselves back because of a failure, a negative experience, or a mistake they made. They kept focusing on improvement and accepted those failures and mistakes as a natural component to improvement. Did it take a lot of risks for J.K. Rowling to keep trying and trying and trying to ask the next publisher to publish her books? Or did Walt Disney become one of the world's most talented, most successful animator because he kept doing the same thing again and again? They didn't focus on those failures, rejections, mistakes because they deep down believed that they are good enough to keep trying, to keep taking risks. They simply believed that when they make mistakes, that doesn't make them a mistake. In fact, they all looked at how effective English communicators look at mistakes: blessings, lessons, and learning opportunities. If your English has been plateauing for the last 6 months and you as a professional know how much speaking English more clearly, fluently, confidently would help you have a better life, create better career opportunities or life opportunities, you probably still subconsciously believe that your English isn't good enough, or that you aren't good enough. And I get it, expressing yourself with a wider range of vocabulary, thinking about a more complex way to say things in the middle of a conversation, or taking the courage to make mistakes, especially when there's a meeting, can be really challenging. And this is partly why we focus so much with my students on acting against this belief, because our brain only helps us create new beliefs as long as we focus on learning how the brain learns, which is not through information, but through experience. So if I still had loads of insecurities about my English, I would definitely start getting really curious about the thoughts I had when I was speaking with other people. What thoughts come up when you're speaking in front of other people? What thoughts come up when you're trying to use a more difficult expression or a more complex grammar structure, but you still resort to using the basic one because you want to stay safe, you don't want to take that risk and make that mistake? Are you telling yourself things like you're going to embarrass yourself, people are going to laugh at you, make fun of you, or you're going to lose your job because your managers are going to think that you're stupid when you make that mistake? Or you're just simply constantly worried about what people around you, your managers, your colleagues think about your English when you speak in front of them. And the next step is to really ask yourself, is this really true? Like, are people actually really judging me? Or is it just a story that I keep telling myself? Because people judge. Most people don't know how to think. They never learned how to think. They are going to judge, criticize, especially if they themselves criticize themselves. The question is less about are they going to judge me, because they will, and more about can I get comfortable with the fact that people are going to judge me so I can make progress and improve. Because after all, and this is one of the biggest things that I teach my students who are part of my coaching program as well, who creates your thoughts? You create your thoughts, and becoming clearer on what thoughts you tell yourself, which is not your fault, which then create that tension, that anxiety that makes your hands sweat, that makes your voice crack or shake, or your heart beat faster, which is also partly the reason you keep forgetting vocabulary in the middle of a conversation, is the first step to creating the new thoughts that will help you break through these insecurities. People have intrusive thoughts as well. There are people who think they want to kill their neighbor. There are people after an argument who want to go as far away from their family as possible. But do you see most of them acting on those intrusive thoughts? So if we don't act on our intrusive thoughts, we can also choose not to act on our fearful negative thoughts. And think about all these anxious thoughts that we are having. I know this because I used to struggle with this. This is partly why I created my coaching program. When we are worried about what people think that we have zero control over, or have anxiety coming up before a speech or a meeting that we have to hold in English in front of people that hasn't even happened yet, we are wasting a lot of our energy worrying about things that we don't have control over. The difference between confident English speakers and people who struggle to express themselves and communicate effectively, whose career or life opportunities depend on how clearly, fluently, and confidently speak English, is that confident English speakers became confident because they learned not to listen to those negative thoughts. They learned not to act on the fear, because anything fear basically means is that you're about to do something uncomfortable. You're about to step outside your comfort zone. All you really need to do is trust yourself enough to say, I can do this. I can rise up to this challenge. I can step outside my comfort zone so I can learn something, because growth always happens outside your comfort zone. And when they acted against that negative thought, they took the courage to make those mistakes so they could learn from the feedback, took the risks so they could use a wider range of vocabulary when they communicate, or challenge themselves by expressing themselves in a more complex way. Nobody taught you this. We don't get a class in high school on thinking or believing, right? So just remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. As you can see, expressing yourself in more complex ways in English and using a wider range of vocabulary is really just a matter of taking courage and consistent practice. So let me ask you, do you want to keep focusing on consuming even more content, watching video after video, studying grammar structures, memorizing vocabulary that then you end up not remembering a conversation because you've never worked on your belief system and trusting yourself when you do not feel good enough? Or are you committed to gaining confidence so you don't need to feel so stressed about speaking English in front of other people, so you can learn to articulate yourself more clearly, more effectively, and more precisely? And if the second one is you, then I'd love you to check out my free ebook, which breaks down the step-by-step method that I was using on myself to help me conquer my fear of making mistakes and fear of judgment, and as a result gain massive confidence, as you can see, in speaking English in front of other people. Check this out in the first link in the description below. Now let me know what you think about everything you've heard in this video. What are your biggest fears? What thoughts come up whenever you speak English in front of other people? Let me know in the comments below, and just remember, you're amazing, talented, intelligent, all you really need to do is to take that courage and jump into that next conversation. Thank you so much for watching this to the end. Have a lovely rest of your day. Kobe Bryant, one of the most successful, most admired basketball players the world has ever seen, has actually failed 14,484 shots. 84, 81, fuck. I knew I was gonna mess this up.